It's just really interesting. A new study that was done. Generation X women. Who are Generation X women? Those Generation X women are women currently between the ages of 33 and 46. And the question is, do they choose work over kids? Well, listen to this. Nearly half, 43% of college-educated Generation X women are childless, says a new study. And this statistic is likely to lead to a new wave of wondering for women why we still feel we have to choose between families and careers, because I think people are choosing one over the other. Although 3/4 of these childless women are in, quote, established relationships, I guess that's the new euphemism for being with a significant other, but maybe not being married, or maybe being married, but not being with a heterosexual couple. Anyway, they call them established relationships now. We always have to find different words in English to say what we used to mean with one word. But anyway, we have to be kind to everybody, right? We have to figure out inclusiveness. 75% of childless women are in established relationships, which the study deduces means that the fact that they're not parents is not because they're alone and single and are lacking a partner to raise children with. It's very interesting. This was done by the Sunday Times of London, and it's being picked up by newspapers and websites over the last 3 days. But the interviews were done by graduates here in the United States as well as in Britain. 3,000 male and female graduates were surveyed, and they found similar trends in both countries. Previous studies in Britain only hinted at similar trends. In 2007, a London study tracked 5,000 women born in 1970 and discovered that 40% of those British women graduates were still childless at 35. By contrast, fewer, 32.7%, of women born in 1958 were childless at 35. So the question is, why is there an increase? Why are more women that were born later, right around 1970, deciding not to have children? And one person was interviewed. She's 44. She's a nutritionist. She went into a business of her own. And she said, my whole life has been go to school, go to university, get a career, and carry on with the career. She says, quote, I'm part of the first generation of women where there actually wasn't that much pressure put on us to have children. My parents were far more interested in me getting a career rather than anything else. Now, it's interesting about this because I speak a lot about this when I speak in front of people, about the juggle of balancing career and community, family, friends, all of that. And the expectation upon me, I'm a little older, I was born in 60, was that I would get married, settle down, have children, and have a career. That in order for me to consider to have had a successful life, it had to include all those elements, not one to the exclusion of another. Maybe that was my family. I'm sure it was my family, but I'm thinking that it was the culture that surrounded me as well. Because the generation right before me felt that if you just were married and had kids, you were successful. Maybe the generation after me felt that if you just had a career, you were successful. I guess I was squeezed into the generation that was taught to believe that you needed to have all of it to be successful, whatever that means. But to do it all well, I think that's what it is. Anyway, I personally believe in a balanced life. You know, Mika Brzezinski was, in her first book, All Things at Once, she spoke about that she was sad to see so many young career women forego relationships and forego children because they were so involved in their career that they couldn't see past that to anything else. You know, and her feeling is you do it all at once and you do the best you can all at once, and that's what you do. And that's how you have a balanced life. I agree with her. I think that is what you do. You don't say, oh, I'm not going to fall in love today because it's inconvenient, and I'm not going to have children today because it's inconvenient, presuming you have a committed, stable relationship and some money put aside. Because the truth is, it's never a great time to have kids. They're always a huge interruption. They change every plan you've ever had. You can never really go on a vacation again. And you worry a lot, and you know, hence all the lines in the forehead and all the Botox treatments we need. It's not just from age, you know, it's from worry. But, you know, if you want to be a parent, and not everybody does, not everybody should, but if you want to, you really shouldn't wait till you're 40. You know, go shoot me now, but that's the truth. It's harder. And I have friends that are parents at 40 for the first time, and they'll agree with me. My mother always said that there was a reason that God made it easier and better for people to have children under 40, even under 35. You have more strength and energy that way. It's not an accident that your eggs and your sperm are healthier. It's the way we were born to be. So don't wait. It's never going to be a perfect time. Anyway, this is a really interesting study. This is just a really interesting study because I am just surprised to hear that 43% of women in that generation between 35 and 46 don't have children. That's a lot of educated women not having children. And it would be very interesting for me to see a study of women that are not involved in their careers, if they have more children than the norm, or they also choose not to have children because presumably they earn less money and maybe then they can give them less things or give them less of security growing up. But maybe economy doesn't have a place when it comes to having children. I don't know. But it's very interesting. One woman who's just turning 35 feels she still has time to be a parent. But on the other hand, she likes working as a rock climber and hiking guide in Africa. She said, I would have children if I didn't have to change so much. It would be much more convenient if the man I loved would change, if he could make good money, pursue a career that didn't put him in constant danger, and tolerate my career volatility, accept the risks that I take. Then I would have children with him. So now another one who is a 44-year-old documentary filmmaker says that she had an abortion when she was 25 and not ready to be a mom. She says, I'm so close to finishing my dissertation. I can't jump ship right now. I don't want to. I don't want to have a child. Not now. And that's at 44. And then she says, though, at 45, she felt more than ready, but she had a miscarriage. And then she said, I put off having children for so many years so I could pursue my career goals. Now that I'm ready to have children, my body isn't cooperating. I'm struggling with infertility. I've had multiple miscarriages. My childbearing years have come to a close. I'm afraid. And the conclusion of the people that are reporting on the study say, why is it that women still feel forced to choose between kids and career today? Well, it's because we put these tremendous impositions on ourselves that we have to be perfect at everything we do. And if we have to be perfect, we can't be. And so we do one or the other instead of one and the other and not be so perfect at each. Anyway, so in general, when it comes to the balance of life, the work versus the family thing, I think that women like men should strive to have both because I think what it means to be successful in life is to have both, is to have personal relationships and professional accomplishments. So I'm sorry that some women still feel they have to do one to the exclusiveness of the other. But it's part of our problem when we think we have to be perfect in everything. And you know what? We don't. We don't.